Ladies and gentlemen, what is up? Good morning, you're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. It is Friday, January 31st, 2024. I have to update the ticker still. Did not do that, but the 747, first 747 of the day was approaching. And since the only thing I still had to do was update the ticker, I figured let's do that later. Go live first, catch a Queen Cargo Lux coming in from Miami, Florida, 7 hours and 52 minutes underway. 10-year-old airplane, first flight February 2014. Good morning, Maria, Marissa, Wolfgang, Koen, Jeffrey, Veldi, Matt, Thomas, Danny, Amsterdam Plane Spotting, all the others, good morning, welcome one and all. It's a beautiful sunny day here at Schiphol Airport. High clouds, United just landed. Contrails in the sky, and the first Queen is coming in. I think that the temperature is just above freezing. I will update the ticker after this landing. Andrew, good morning. Marinus, Trucker Nick, Pascal, Shoni, Lane, good morning. Check out the wing fluff. Relatively high humidity. Marianne, goedemorgen. Queenie, Pierre, Roadhog. Starting the show with a Queen Cargo Lux. What a grand entrance. Just in time indeed, Mr. Blue Sky. Joop, goedemorgen. Greet, goedemorgen. Brian, good morning. Erik, morgen. Infinite Mustafa, good morning. Thomas, good morning. Swisspot Sport Worker and JWB, goedemorgen, good morning. We have the Queen coming in and there are more coming. Let's have a quick look. I also first have to update the meter in the ticker. Still the weather from yesterday. We still have wind from the south. Today we have wind from the south, which means reversal of runway use. We have Saudia as the next 747 coming in, flying in German airspace right now, expected 10:42. Atlas Air is coming in from the other side. That's the Kühne and Nagel 7478, expected 8 minutes to noon. Emirates A380 expected 12:12, so at least 2 more Queens, and Cathay Pacific is late. We'll have to wait and see if we're able to catch that one. Let me quickly update the meter. Didn't have time to do that yet. Normally do that before going live, but since the Queen was arriving, it's a departures runway 24 and 18 right day. No, 18 left. Arrivals, obviously the other two 18 runways, 18 right, 18 C. Here we have an updated ticker. Let me also put on my gloves. Not very warm, although I'm not cold at the moment. Turkish flight 1951, 777-300 coming in today. I also saw this morning on Flight Radar that Air France is flying from Nairobi to Amsterdam with a 777 freighter. Also something that you don't see every day. I think it was expected shortly before noon. Embraer from Helvetic. Bas, goedemorgen. Erik, goedemorgen. Esther Benjamins, good morning. Air France ITA 1229. Marissa already giving us an update. Thank you for that, Marissa. Good glide slope visibility. We have 2 airplanes visible right now. In the distance, an Embraer 190 arriving from Düsseldorf, and in the foreground, Turkish flight 1951 arriving from Istanbul. The airplane in the foreground is a 777-300ER. 3 hours underway from Istanbul to Amsterdam. Nominal flight time. 8-year-old airplane. First flight March 2016. Howdy Hans, goedemorgen. Welcome to the show, one and all. We have airplanes flying in from the west. A couple of heavies. Delta Airlines Flight 90. A330neo arriving from Orlando, Florida, followed by a KLM 787-10 Dreamliner, EasyJet arriving from Bristol, Lufthansa A319 arriving from Frankfurt. So nice mix of wide bodies and narrow bodies. Here we have Turkish. Richard Moes, goedemorgen. Richard is tuning in from bloody hot and sunny Rotterdam Zuid. Well, it's sunny over here as well. Check it out. That yellow orb, I believe they call it the sun. If you look closely, you can also see some contrails here and there. Outbound departing air traffic. Yeah, also coming. In other words, another beautiful day here. Crow crew foraging and looking for food in the field. And also Sally or Stephen Seagull. Chilling in the morning. Hey there Janus, good morning. Erik, goedemorgen. Shlomo, good to see ya. Good morning. 3 narrow bodies on the glide slope to Polderbound right now. After that, a couple of consecutive heavies. In the foreground, we have number 190 from KLM arriving from Düsseldorf. And after that, an A319 from Lufthansa coming in from Frankfurt. The Germans are invading, or the people from Germany. No ground crew day for Lisa Maria. Just dropped her off. She's going back to Belgium. Her country needs her. Also the reason why I was a little later and with both the stream and the announcement of the stream. What up, first officer? Mr. Wolfman, good morning. Delta Airlines at the 7 o'clock of the number 2, which is in the top of your field of view. Got 3 consecutive wide bodies coming in now. After the 2 narrow bodies that are now numbers 1 and 2. So it's a nice mix. Delta Airlines coming in twice. The first of the 2 Deltas already visible on the far left. And the other one is flying base, still over the North Sea, but coming close relatively quickly. And here we have Lufthansa flight 988. It is an A319 in the old livery. The old standard livery. 15-year-old airplane, first flight December 2009. It's the Deba. That's the AIBA. Right. Is my chat window updating or is it just really slow today? It's a Friday morning, everybody's still waking up. EasyJet A380 arriving from Bristol next, 59 minutes underway. 10-year-old airplane, first flight October 2014. Now the airplane as number 3 visible is the 787-10 Dreamliner from KLM arriving from Austin, Texas. Hey Robert, good morning, good to see you again. Nice, a day off from work. And still up early. Or is it up late? Always calm over here, hardly any wind. The water also like a mirror. Other than the crows in the field. And that one seagull, I haven't seen any birds in the water yet. We did see one yesterday. For the first time in a while. Not sure what happened to all the birds, if they just left. Maybe it's too busy. Too loud with all the construction taking place here nowadays. What is up, David? Good morning. Tim, goedemorgen. Rob, goedemorgen. Good morning, gents. Welcome back. A triplet of wide bodies coming in now. The first of which is going to be Delta Airlines Flight 90 arriving from Orlando, Florida. A330neo. Three-year-old airplane. First flight of this First flight of this airplane was in April 2021. I need vodka stat. Good morning, Elise. Jos, goedemorgen. Aeolus Capital, good morning. Bob, good evening, mate. Welcome back. Luxro, good morning. Good evening. Good evening to you. Good morning to us. Welcome, one and all. You're watching Amos Live. My name is Boy, and we are standing at the Polderbaan, being used for arrivals. Well, winter is blowing, and there's hardly any. Let's have a look at the scale of chimney smoke. Well, winter is blowing from the south, more or less. But it is a very calm day. Even though the air temperature, the ambient air temperature is just above 0, doesn't feel cold at all. Feels warmer than it did yesterday when it was actually warmer. Sunshine and the absence of wind make all the difference in that respect. What is up, made in Australia? Diana, goedemorgen. Michael, good morning. Next to arrive, KLM Flight 668, arriving from Austin, Texas. 787-10. 5-year-old airplane, first flight November 2019. Alan, what up, mate? Good to see you again. Now, did you mistake me for Chris yesterday? Are you watching stream simultaneously? I think you are. I think you were. Bob says it's 22 C here at this moment, so still a nice warm temperature in the evening. Made in Australia says watch out for random Black Hawks. Well, we did see an Apache here once. That's a rare sighting here in this part of the country, since there are no military bases anywhere nearby. Other than that, just police helicopters most of all, and the trauma lifeline choppers. Delta Airlines Flight 74 on the right, coming in from Atlanta, Georgia, as always, A330-300, 7 hours and 38 minutes underway, 17-year-old airplane, first flight August 2007. Indeed, Bas, Den Helder, but that's not exactly in the vicinity of Schiphol, I would say. Damien, morning. Right, Diana has to go. Thanks for dropping by, Diana. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hope to see you again soon. And Jos asks if I was live still when Qatar landed on AMS. Well, if I were, you would have been able to see it. And if I had caught it on film, I would probably also have made a separate video of it. So if you haven't seen anything from me, then the answer probably is no. No, I think I was on the way back home when it landed. Did look it up when people were asking me if I saw it. I think I was unpacking my stuff at home right when it landed. Hadi Kars, goedemorgen, good morning. Japanese characters, good morning. And Jos was on the runway. Oh, cool. So you were able to see it. Nice. Got a 787-10 coming in next from Edmonton, Canada. KLM flight 676. 7 hours and 46 minutes underway. It's the PHBKF. 5 years old. First flight December 2019. And back to the narrow bodies after this for 4 or 5 airplanes or so. And then another Canadian... Well, no, KLM A380 arriving from Canada. Jaco, goedemorgen. Ah, that's unfortunate, Jos. Morgen Trekkerspot. Good morning, Robert. Good morning, Joseph. And good morning, all others who have joined. Beautiful sunny day here at Schiphol Airport. Hardly any wind. And arrivals. Once again from the Polderbaan. Flap surfaces of the Dreamliner squeaky clean. As almost always, KLM takes care of the flap surfaces of their wide-body fleet. Trekkerspot asks if this one is coming from Canada. It certainly is, arriving from Edmonton. Bom dia, Mr. Señor Doctor Excelencia. Good morning. Now back to narrow bodies for at least 4 airplanes. First of the airplanes coming in is EasyJet, arriving from Gatwick, A319. Air Arabia Maroc is the number 2 now, arriving from Nador in Morocco. Croatia Airlines is number 3 on the far left. That's flight 450 arriving from Zagreb. SAS is about to turn in, so arriving in the background from the right somewhere at some point. Not sure if we can see it. I'm struggling to see it, but maybe you guys are able to discern it in the background. Oh yeah, on the top at the now 10 o'clock. Yeah, that's SAS arriving from Stockholm, A320neo, and after that, back to another A330-200 from KLM. Right, A320 next, Air Arabia, operated by Air Arabia Morocco, arriving from Nador. Nador in Morocco. Hey. A little flock of birds. Traffic, traffic. This A320 is 10 years old. First flight June 2014. Aloha Jinshin, good to see you again, mate. Hope all is well. Lovely morning lighting here and an off-axis butt shot. Hey Sheila, morning. Welcome back, good to see you again. Long time no see. Must have been at least 24 hours, if not more. Alrighty, the now number 3 on the far left of the triplet of airplanes that you can see is the A330-200 from KLM, returning from Toronto, and on the far right we have Croatia Airlines flight 450, which is returning from Zagreb. It is in the Star Alliance livery. I think it's the exact same plane that we also saw here yesterday, or was it earlier in the week? Thought we didn't we also see Croatia Airlines take off yesterday? Anyway, it's the 9A CTO, Chief Technical Officer. 20 years old already. This airplane began flying in February of the year 2004, which is 1 year prior to me graduating for the first time from my first studies. Good morning, Hassan. Good evening to you back in Melbourne, down under. Hope you've had a good day. Firefighters already did their round as I was setting up. Think they've all returned back into the station. If I recall correctly, there is a windsock over there. Yeah. Flaccid AF. No use for the new custom emoji today. Bill also back. Good to see you, Bill. Good morning or good night. Hope you've been well. SAS coming in from Stockholm. A320 Neo. Irish registered. EISIW. The airplane a year old. First flight November 2023. Martin R, goedemorgen kerel. Good to see you again. There's a near complete absence of wind here, at least where I'm standing. Combine that with sunshine and it actually feels warmer now than yesterday when the air temperature was higher than it is today. Tom, goedemorgen. Aeromoo. Aeromoo, who is tuning in from Phoenix, Arizona, where it is 2 in the night. Just curious, what temperature is it still there in the middle of the night? Being in the desert and all. Okay, then flight 696 next to land here. Arriving from Toronto, A330-200. Joris, goedemorgen. This is the PHAOA KLM flight 696, 19-year-old airplane, first flight August 2005. Aero Mo, check. Hadi Simone, goedemorgen. And welcome all others who have joined us in the meantime. You're watching AMS Live, the channel that Schiphol Group loves to hate, it's that good. This is the Polderbaan, today in use for arrivals as runway 18 right as the primary runway for arrivals. At the moment, the only runway for arrivals, and from 11 until 11:40 AM local time, which you can find in the bottom left of your screen. Parallel arrivals expected. Where this runway is going to welcome all traffic from the west and southwest, and everything coming in from the north and northeast and east will be going to the center runway for 40 minutes. 6C in Phoenix. Right, so that is pretty cool. Then again, if you don't have any clouds in the sky at night, things can get cool. Over here, I think we have now about 8 or so hours, 8 to 8.5 hours of sunshine. And this is at 52 degrees latitude. You guys more to the south also have a bit shorter nights. Yeah, longer days already. The closer you get to the North Pole and the South Pole, the more extreme the day and nights get. Leroy, morning. Stijn, goedemorgen. Dirk on tour, good morning. No ground crew today, indeed, Wolfgang. Lisa is on her way back to Belgium. Her country needs her. James! Good morning, mate. And that motherfucker just flown over him in southwest UK. Yeah, and in the meantime already landed here. Oh no, wait. That was the AOA. So the fucker is still coming. Excellent. If it just passed over the southwest of England, it's probably due here in an hour or so. E2 Embraer 195, having arrived from Porto in Portugal. Richard, goedemorgen. Jose, good morning. Welcome on and all. I see a Chinese triple that is flying downwind now to the east. I'm not sure that I'm able to see it. It should be, well no, it's already a bit to the northeast, so it should be somewhere over there. Oh wait, is that it? What? I think it is. Chinese triple freighter. It certainly looks like it. China Southern, arriving from Shanghai in the vicinity of Purmerend. Again, visibility immaculate here today. Good visibility. Not sure about tomorrow though. It was said that tomorrow morning we might have patches of fog. Dense fog perhaps even. So, curious to see what the situation tomorrow morning is going to be like in 24 or so hours from now. 3 airplanes on the glide slope here. Another airplane arriving from Morocco in the foreground. ITA Airways flying for, I think, Air Arabia. A380 arriving from Tangier. 32 years old. First flight February 1992. Hey, wait. This is clearly not it. This is an EasyJet that I'm not seeing on Flight Radar for some reason. And I don't know why. Now why is that airplane invisible? Invisible for me on Flight Radar. I have AMS inbound traffic set as a filter. So unless its destination is NA, I should be able to see it, shouldn't I? Good, spotted. Now, where there's one, there's almost always more. No. Oh, there's definitely a high likelihood that there will be more over there. Lost in transponder. Yep. Anyway, so this is ITA Airways now on the far right, flying on behalf of Air Arabia, I think. Volkson, good morning. Jelle, goedemorgen, good morning. Joep, goedemorgen. Casper, goedemorgen. 3 airplanes on the glide slope. The A380, 32 years old. Next to land, ITA Airways. One of the oldest. Interesting. First flight of this airplane, February 1992. I guess that quite a few of you who are now watching weren't even born yet by then. I was still in elementary school, 6th grade. 2 more years of elementary school to go. 1992. And this airplane was already flying people all across the world. Makes you think, doesn't it? EasyJet was arriving from Persenchester. Thank you for the update, guys. Stephen, good morning. Lionel, good morning, goedemorgen. All the others who have joined us in the meantime, good morning. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy and we are standing here at the Polderbaan in use for arrivals today as runway 18 right. And we have flap tip vortices emanating from Tarom flight 361, arriving from Bucharest. 737-800, 11 years old. First flight October 2013. We could also see new arrivals in the background. I think that's the 777 from China turning in. Coming number 3. The airplane right after this Tarom is a Dreamliner from KLM 78710, arriving from Cartagena. KLM flight 749. Gerrit, goedemorgen. Midvie, good morning. Tom, goedemorgen, kerel. Welcome, one and all. Heavy hitter with another heavy hitter arriving from China in the background. KLM flight 749 on the right, arriving from Cartagena in Colombia. PHBKI, 4 years old, first flight August 2020. Tai, good morning. And that Chinese triple that we saw, China Southern Cargo, arriving from Shanghai, is now number 2. Right, have a look at the wings. Now you have flex. Once those spoilers go up, bada bing, bada boom. Also overhead traffic outbound. KLM Embraer off to northern destinations, undoubtedly. Bird control is also there. One of the Ford Ranger Raptors. And here we have China Southern Cargo, flight 451, 11 hours and 23 minutes underway from Shanghai in China to the Netherlands. Jackie, goedemorgen kerel. Love calls, good morning. This 777 freighter is 4 years old. Will be turning 5 next month. February 2020 is when it had its first flight. If you joined us just now, welcome to the show. You're watching Amos Live, and our first airplane of the day was a Boeing 747 that landed, and if I counted correctly, 2 more are coming still in today's show. The A380 also still expected, so if you don't have to be anywhere, stick around. Relatively high humidity, even though it doesn't look like it. But the wing fluff and the vortices tell a different story. Leo, goedemorgen. Andrew, good morning. Relatively clean flap surfaces. We've seen worse on Chinese triples. We still have that little elevator over there. Well, I say little, but if you stand next to it, it's actually a pretty sizable machine. Track tires, an excavator as well. Nobody working on a Friday, seemingly. They've put fences around the part over there. So yeah, pressure pipe replacement. The next airplane in the distance is a small one. Ian, good morning. Tours to boot, good morning. Embraer 190 arriving from London City, the next airplane to come in. GE, thank you so much for your super chat there. Groundhog Day, February 2nd in Punxsutawney in Pennsylvania. I probably mispronounced that name. Apologies if I did. Good morning to everybody. Daan, goedemorgen. DB Baseman, good morning. Mario, guten Morgen. Embraer 190 coming in. And after that, a little break. Little break, allowing me to show you what is in the air underway to Schiphol. Have a look at the weather. Don't think much has changed, but you never know. Ivo, good morning, goedemorgen. Jeroen, goedemorgen, good morning. If you're into Embraers, you're lucky, because this is an Embraer and the next 2 airplanes also are going to be Embraers, unless there are more airplanes coming in that don't show on my flight radar, which I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case. Hey, is this Captain Wheelie? It certainly looks like it, doesn't it? Oh yeah. I'm not sure if this is Captain Wheelie, because Captain Wheelie usually is able to extend the nose wheel until the airplane from this angle has passed. Well, no, I'm normally a bit further to the north. Maybe this was Captain Wheelie. I was about to say, normally the nose wheel extends or is being held off the ground until the airplane has passed the tower. But we're closer to the tower now. We're standing a bit further to the south, so I think this might have been a return of Captain Wheelie. Flipping awesome. 10:25 a.m. The return of Captain Wheelie, I think. If this wasn't Captain Wheelie, then it certainly is someone who is damn good at imitating Captain Wheelie. And we have two coots, Chris and Curtis. Bloop. Into the water. Morning swim. Eat some fibrous food in the meantime in the side of, on the side of the water. There you go. And back into the water. Next airplane coming in is number 190, arriving from London City. There it is. Still a bit vague and small, allowing me to show you what is going on over here. So we have Saudia approaching, well, no, already officially in Dutch airspace. Saudia flight 933 arriving from Jeddah. That is going to land here at the Polderbaan. On the Polderbaan. Atlas Air, de Kuehne & Nagel, is arriving from Miami, Florida. Expected around noon, shortly before noon now. In Hungarian airspace, we have Emirates flight 147. That is expected around noon. And we have Cathay Pacific, still expected late. 1:48, it's ETA. Not sure if I'm going to stick around for that. It depends on the traffic. Now there's also a visitor that we don't see every day here. Expected past noon. 12:30 I think it was that Marissa said its ETA is, but Air France 777 freighter arriving from Nairobi, Kenya. Normally we don't see Air France with 777 freighters. Today we are. Alessia, goedemorgen. Hugo, goedemorgen. KLM flight 980 arriving from London City, the next airplane to come in, and another one behind him already. That's number 175, KLM flight 1918 arriving from Zurich. Qatar A350 arriving from Doha in the vicinity of Purmerend, and I think I have it. Let's see, chimney smoke, bit further to the left, Is it past the sugar factory already? Now I've lost it again. I was able to see it. The A350 from Qatar is not the only wide body coming in. Turning in right now is Air Canada flight 808. That's an A330-300. And we also have Delta Airlines flight 236 arriving from the west. That's another A330 arriving from Tampa, Florida. So pretty soon we are going to see wide bodies back to back again. Hey there, Donna. Good morning. Paul. Good morning. Donna says it's very rainy in Newcastle right now. My condolences. It's almost always that either we have sunshine and you guys have rain, or you guys have sunshine and we have rain. Really would be nice if we were to have some sunshine on both sides of the North Sea for once. There's also a BizJet approaching from the southwest. Jetstream arriving from Paris. That's probably going to land on the Schiphol Oostbaan, runway 22. or runway 04, no, runway 22. Dutch flight simmer, good morning. So this is KLM flight 1918, Embraer 175 arriving from Zurich. The airplane is 8 years old, first flight was in March 2016. The heavy hitters are going to come in next. Air Canada leading the pack, flight 808 arriving from Toronto. There it is. Turning in from the right in the background should be, and there it is, the Qatar A350. Even getting a little bit vague as it flies through the exhaust, or if the when the exhaust gases of the A330 are in the way. Qatar flight 275 arriving from Doha, turning in and approaching from the other side. Hopefully still becoming visible shortly. Delta Airlines flight 236. Can we see it already? I think the answer is yes. There it is. Delta A330 300 flight 236 arriving from Tampa in Florida, turning in. There's your glide slope formation. 3 consecutive wide bodies coming in. JP van Ruitenbeek, goedemorgen. Neil, good morning. And good morning to all others who have joined us in the meantime. You're watching Amos Live. My name is Boy. This is the Polderbound runway 18 ride. And we're looking at Air Canada flight 808, A330 300 arriving from Toronto. The airplane is 11 years old. First flight January 2014. It turned 11 this month. Happy birthday to you. And it is in the bank rubber look. They're here to take our money. Good morning, Mr. Cole. Hope you've been well, Lance. SE Aviation, good morning. Now, you may have missed... Hey, Qatar is breaking off the landing. Or is that just flight radar? What? Okay, flight radar now says that the A350... Okay, no. Dude, what is going on flight radar? If you look at the tracking of the Qatar A350, for a brief moment it was looking like it was going around. Then it looked like it was going to the center runway. And here in actuality nothing interesting is happening. Either way, 10 or so minutes ago we saw Captain Wheelie, or maybe a very good copycat. It was an Embraer 190, wasn't it? It's almost always an Embraer 190 from KLM when we see Captain Wheelie. First airplane of today. If you go back to the beginning of the stream, a Boeing 747. Started the stream a little early to catch it. 2 more are coming. The A380 is coming. And also an Air France 777 freighter. Something that you normally don't see here at Schiphol Airport. Arriving from Nairobi, Kenya. First up, Qatar Airways flight 275, an A350. Arriving from Doha. The sound you heard on the mic is a caterpillar excavator that passed over the cycling path behind me. Good morning, Vister, and all others who have joined us. Little bit of wind now, ripples in the water for the first time. Doesn't feel like anything substantial here just yet, but the reeds are dancing back and forth a little bit, swinging around. Wind on the scale of chimney smoke currently looks like this. Tessa, good morning, goedemorgen. They're also tightening bolts here next to me. The pipeline needs tightening. Delta Airlines flight 236 arriving from Tampa, Florida. A330-300, 18 years old, first flight December 2006, next to land. It sounds like a broken duck, Wolfgang says. Hey Ricardo! Ricardo saw me from the plane. Excellent, cool. Yada asks if I can show the excavator. I can. It's parked in front of the pipes. Anita and Leonard, goedemorgen, good morning. Texas, goedemorgen, good morning. No, I'm not burping, and I don't have any ground crew with me. The ground crew is on their way to Belgium. Oh, this is tightening by hand. It's tightening by hand. Going up against gravity. The excavator that passed me by just now is over there. Next airplane coming in is number 175 arriving from Prague, KLM flight 1352. Midvi asks, would you be so kind to tell which website you are using to see which runways are in use? There are two websites that you can look at. You can see the current runway use at lvnl.nl. I'm going to show you in a minute, but I'm also in the process of putting batteries in my heated gloves. Wasn't cold, or my hands weren't cold in the beginning. Now, slowly but surely, they are starting to cool down a little bit, so switching from regular gloves to heated gloves in a moment. After I've filmed the landing of the Embraer 175, I'm going to show you the websites. There's two. And after this airplane has landed, the next airplane is going to be Play. So dust off your custom emojis, members. Play is coming in next. Before we'll see it land, let's have a quick look. So, runway use, current runway use, lvnl.nl. If you go to their homepage and scroll to this white box, actueel baangebruik is Dutch for current runway use. Scroll down and you can see what runway use is and what it was. You can also go back in time. Now there's also a website called bezoekbas.nl, which I have just now pasted in the chat. If you go over here, there's the expected runway use, and if you click on it, you can see for the upcoming hours what the expected runway use for arrivals and for departures is going to be. It's the colloquial name of the runways and the actual numbers, for those of you who are used to those. Next up, Play, flight 460 arriving from Reykjavik. A320 Neo, dust off your playtime emojis and make the chat red. The airplane that we are seeing is 4 years old, hailing from the year 2020. What up? Mevrouw de Patat, goedemorgen, good to see ya. Mr. Master also back in the chat. What up? Mr. Meester. Next up, ITA Airways. The beautiful blue, going from red to blue. What a treat. And also a massive big thank you to Mr. Master, Dick Meester, celebrating 22 months of membership. Bring in the first class amenity kits, 22 months. Mate, thank you so much for your continued support. Always nice to have you in the stream. And even more fun when you're coming over in real life. Hope you still like being a mod and a member. And if any of the two is no longer to your liking, hit me up. And let me see what I can do to fix it then. Mate, how have you been? Ricardo also back. Goedemorgen, Ricardo. Good to see you, mate. Now, let me also quickly blow my nose. Colder air always makes my nose go runny. ITA is coming in and we have 3 coots in the water here. What? Check it out. We have 2 over here. We have 1 additional over here. And ITA flight 120 is coming in. In the meantime, also coming in are both Captain Jerry and Jennifer. Captain Jerry also celebrating 22 months of membership and he writes, last day of rehab, nurse gave me a bottle of rum. Congratulations, mate. Good to see you again. I'm very happy for you. Hope you've recovered well in the rehab and hope for you you're going to stay away from them for a long time to come after you've been released. This is ITA Airways, flight 120, Bombardier C-Series 300 arriving from Milan. Beautiful machine, beautiful livery, brand new airplane, first flight October 2024. Check it out. Isn't she lovely? Well, we say she, but aereo is masculine in Italian. So Italian airplanes, I think, probably are masculine. Hadi Julian, goedemorgen, good morning. First time watching. Nice of you to say hi. Fritz, guten Morgen. Herzlich willkommen. Good to see you again. Now, also Jennifer, I did not forget you. I had to film the landing. Jennifer is celebrating 14 months of membership. Yay, 14 months. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you too, Jennifer. I'm very happy to have you as a member for 14 months and I hope you are happy to be a member still as well. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. Let me know if something is no longer to your liking. That doesn't apply to you and to Jerry, but to all members. You can always hit me up and let me see what I can do then. Barry, good morning. And good morning to all others who have joined. Saudia, coming in. Second queen of the show. The first queen, actually, already the first airplane of today's show. I started a bit earlier just to catch it in time. Makes the total of queens in today's show at least 3. Unless I'm going to stick around until 1:45 and also catch the 7478 from Cathay Pacific. Which I don't think you should count on me doing. The A380 is also still expected. Right, Air Oink Oink, it has landed. Time for queen number 2. Saudia, flight 933 arriving from Jeddah. 747 freighter, 5 hours and 59 minutes the flight time. And Her Majesty the Queen is 28 years old. First flight November 1996. Rick says, you better not forget her, boy. Looking at her photo, holding the crossbow. In reference to Jennifer. Yeah. That looks like a dangerous lady. Well, at least somebody who has the potential to be dangerous. Then again, anybody with a sharp knife can also be dangerous. Caterpillar, not a sponsor of today's show, but in their enthusiasm raising their arm. And the next color at 2 years. I think blue. I would have to look that up, but I thought that color was blue, and I think the next color change after 2 years, I think even 48 months, 4 years. But that's after 4 years. So after the 2-year mark, the next increment I think was 4 years and then 5 years. Or it's 3 years and 4 years. Something like that. I think the 4/5 years were with color gradients. And the longest that I could choose back then, but now they've also increased to batches for even more years. Two is blue, right? And then a pinkish color at 36, and then a yellow triangle added at 48. There you go. Dennis, goedemorgen. And good morning to all others who have joined. This was the second queen of the show, Saudia flight 933, having arrived from Saudi Arabia. 28-year-old airplane, first flight November 1996. The very first airplane of today's show, if you only joined us later, was also a 747 from Cargolux, if I recall correctly. So if you go back to the beginning of the stream, in the very first minutes, you'll see another queen land. Another one is expected, as is the Emirates A380. Indeed, fairly subdued. The first one was subdued as well. Doesn't look like it's a day where they're applying reversers, just idle reverse. 10 years of rainbow, that's a good idea, maybe, maybe. Although, don't want to come across as being too woke. That's not a good thing these days anymore. I think it was also woke policy that allegedly, according to a certain president, caused a certain air collision. You have to admit it's creative thinking. Whether or not it is utter bullshit is besides the point, but yeah, rainbows, I have to think about it, Rick. This is JetBlue. JetBlue arriving from New York, JFK. Has the compartment for mothers-in-laws on the top of the fuselage. Right, now it is a couple of narrow bodies back to back for the time being. Next up, EasyJet arriving from Edinburgh, KLM arriving from London, EasyJet turning in, arriving from London as well, but not the same airport. A Dutch flag turned upside down. You mean the French flag? Oh no, bad joke. Peter asks an interesting question. What color do Smurfs go when they get cold? ITA blue, probably. EasyJet. Neorio. It's a Neorio. Right. Norwegian is also flying base. Probably has a grumpy person on the tail. E2 Embraer next. Arriving from London Heathrow. Flight 1002. EasyJet. Flight 28679. Arriving from Gatwick. Behind it. Transavia should have turned in, yeah, at the 7 o'clock, vaguely visible if you look closely, just left of center and a little lower. Anything but Belgian is good for Rick. Okay, duly noted. QJ, good morning. They call me M. Guten Morgen. Schönes Wochenende. Nice of you to speak German. You do know that here in the Netherlands we speak a different language, don't you? It's not exactly the same, but we do understand a lot of German. Or at least most Dutchies do. Although we did temporarily, we were a part of the German Empire for a couple of years, somewhere in the 1940s. I think we never actually went to speaking German as the main language in those years. Ah, they call me M is German, right? Check. Hadi Miranda, tuning in from New Zealand. Ah ja, indeed. Deutsch sprechen kann. Mit Wolfgang. Oh yeah, and we were Roman Empire as well in the 800s. Man, those were the days. Drinking wine, having pasta for lunch. Now it's back to sandwiches with peanut butter and appelstroop, apple syrup. Which is probably something that most of you don't know abroad. Apple syrup, it's black, but it is sweet and sour. It does contain a lot of iron. So if you're iron deficient, your doctor may tell you eat sandwiches with apple syrup. Thomas said, I learned Frisian from the old Dutch weatherman. Yeah, you mean the late, what was his name again? He always said, Oudtmorn or something. Rick probably knows. No, not Pelleboer. Paulusma, Piet Paulusma, yeah. That's the one I was referring to. Transavia coming in next, flight 6592, arriving from Salzburg. It's the PHHSA, 15 years old, first flight June 2009. Oudtmorn, indeed, Rick. A321neo arriving from Paris-Charles de Gaulle, flying right left of me, going downwind, coming in to land on Polderbaan pretty soon. Next up, Norwegian in the Miguel de Cervantes livery. The question is, how grumpy will the person look if there is a person on the tail? Because the picture of flight radar shows an airplane with a blank tail. So flight time 1 hour and 37 minutes. It's the SERPS, S-E-R-P-S, SERPS. 9-year-old airplane, first flight January 2016. Small airplane in the background is an A321neo from ITA. Another beautiful machine, arriving from Rome. Hadi Marit. No grumpy faces on this airplane. Picture is actually current, the one on flight radar. Either there's going to be a grumpy face on the tail, or there was one until recently. Now no longer. Grumpy faces in the cockpit? Doesn't look like it. I do believe that I saw a brief glance of the first officer, but before I was able to raise my hand to wave, he already looked away again. Cat is on the move. Wow. Looks like the cat is coming. Hadi Jaap, goedemorgen. Jaap tuning in from Gouda. There's the caterpillar. Excavating. Hadi Patrick, goedemorgen. He was looking at your site. Yeah, maybe he was. Unfortunately, I think there's a few seconds of delay in the stream and what I'm actually filming right here. And look at what the cat's bringing in. Dirt and dust. Lisa has to go again. See you later. Ciao ragazzi, benvenuti. Now there's also a bizjet flying in to runway 22, somewhere over there. I'm not seeing it. I do see a flock of birds in the distance. Yeah, no dice. Let's focus on what we can see best, and that is incoming traffic to the Polderbaan. With a wide body as number 2, that's KLM Flight 765 arriving from Bonaire. No, wait, that's Bonaire. A330 being preceded by KLM Embraer 190 arriving from Southampton. Indeed, Jerry, glide slope. Beautiful glide slope shots. We also had them last weekend. Pity that you missed them. We also had a little bit of crosswind in the Sunday stream, I believe it was. Now there's hardly any wind at all. A few knots from the south. Where I'm standing, I'm hardly feeling anything. KLM Embraer 190, KLM Flight 1068. About to touch down here. Yeah, I saw them both watching, looking. Indeed, Jerry, I passed the wind. Well, I certainly did last week. Had to go in for a colonoscopy on Friday last week, so had to prep on Thursday and recover a bit on Saturday still. KLM flight 765 coming in next from Bonaire, A330-300. It is the Fakka, the one that James Mail saw pass overhead not too long ago. Haditina, goedemorgen. The Fakka, the airplane that you're now seeing, 12 years old, first flight February 2012. Either reverse landing, as is common for wide bodies from KLM. They hardly ever use the reversers here. And this is no exception, unfortunately. Not unexpected this. And D says that there's an Apache on flight radar in the north of Brabant. Hopefully it's not coming this way. Jerry loves having colonoscopy. You're weird. This seals the deal. You're officially weird, Jerry. They call me M. Says I'm 47 and planes are still as fascinating as they were as a child. You're absolutely right. I wholeheartedly concur. I think that goes for most people watching. Right. Next up is KLM flight 1402. That's the A321neo arriving from Paris that I alluded to earlier, flying downwind back then. Now it is on final. It's the FAX B, the second of the A321neos of, I believe, 4 still that are currently in use. This one got delivered in September 2024, still brand new. In the new KLM livery, where the nose cone is completely blue. We also saw a Dreamliner yesterday take off in the same livery, and it looked a bit more subtle, at least to me. The change compared with the still prevalent standard livery that you see most of the airplanes in. For some reason it looks more pronounced, or at least in my mind's eye, on the narrow body. Maybe it's also because you know that the A321neo all come in the new livery. In the meantime, it is 11:04 and parallel arrivals have begun. That's always the case between 11 and 11:40 or so. Today is no exception. This is German Airways flying to the center runway on behalf of KLM, arriving from Frankfurt, flight 1816. Paul says, a pity you were not streaming this morning around 8:30 when my son was landing the 777 out of Singapore. Ooh, yeah. Well, I was up already. I was preparing to take Lisa to the station. She is on her way back to Belgium, and I was in progress of going out around that time. I was busy getting the ice off the windows, from the windows of my car. Jerry found the remote of his TV remote during the last colonoscopy. And you guys were saying that I was giving too much information last week when I was talking about the toilet visits. My ex-wife's ring was found a few years earlier. I'm sure you took it to the pawn shop in exchange for some money. Because why hold on to something like that? Right, 2 more airplanes on the glide slope of the Polderbaan in the meantime. Here they are. Coming ever closer. Looks like the second one is a wide body. And it is KLM Flight 644 777-300 arriving from New York JFK. Down in the foreground we have a KLM Embraer 190. Here it is, arriving from Geneva. A brown diamond, says Captain Jerry. As long as it's not a blood diamond. In the meantime, what you're hearing in the background is the Caterpillar that just drove past me. It's actually standing here. Some lads over here working on the pipes. Here we have one and another one. He's now speaking to the driver of the excavator. More lads over there. And here we have KLM Flight 644 777-300 arriving from New York JFK. 6 hours and 6 minutes underway. The PHBVF. 14 years old, first flight January 2011. So this airplane turned 14 this month. Nicholas is tuning in from Orly. Chief Camera Officer. That's a nice name for the role. Good morning, Nicholas. Parallel arrivals now in progress. KLM Flight 1842 arriving from Nuremberg is flying parallel to the next airplane to the Polderbaan after this one. A little bit before it. The next airplane after this is going to be KLM Flight 982 arriving from London City. That's an Embraer 190. Flap surfaces inspection once again. Very clean. Embraer are on both runways, Marissa is warning us. If you're a fan of Embraers, this is your time now. The sun is still shining, but there are some high clouds that are in the way now, beautifully illuminating the contra remnant that you see, with a shadow on the left hand side of it. Peter says, good morning. Sadly, I missed the Saudia Queen anymore today, definitely. And you also can look at the beginning of the stream. The very first airplane of today's show was another Queen. Saudia was number 2. There are 3 expected today in total. And here we have a group of birds chilling and relaxing. On the solar panel. Harjeet says, Embraer, did anyone say Embraer waking up? Murder of crows. Yeah. If you're thinking about going live streaming here at Schiphol Airport, you need to be aware of murders of crows. If you don't behave, they'll come for you. So this is KLM flight 982 arriving from London City. 181 nautical miles it has journeyed. 14 years old, first flight March 2010. Now there's some discussion about what kind of birds these are. I think they are a bit smaller than the actual crows, so couldn't see the stripes or the specks that sparrows usually have. But then again, I am no bird expert by any means. I'll leave that to you to decide what kind of birds these were. Hi Matthijs, goedemorgen. No. Embraer 175 arriving from Stavanger, coming this way. There it is. KLM flight 1174. Turning in the background, an Embraer 190 arriving from Bristol, probably a bit lower. Yep, there it is, turning in. And in the meantime, an airplane arriving from Stuttgart, going to the center runway. We saw the pilot and first officer of this airplane yesterday wave at us when we were seeing them right up close. The Herpa Derpa Derpa. "75 years of herpes. It's going viral." Birds chirping over here, indicating that the days over here are lengthening again. Dare I say it, maybe even spring in the air. Weather reports were indicating no precipitation in the upcoming 2 weeks here. Now, seeing is believing, but definitely looks like a longer period of relatively better weather, calmer weather, dry weather ahead of us. Now, in this time of year, that almost always means nebulous and foggy weather as well. So we'll have to see. KLM flight 1076 arriving from Bristol. The next airplane over here, flying a little bit before it, parallel to it, is KLM flight 1284 arriving from Aalborg. Paul, what is up? Good morning. Good to see you again, mate. Hope you've been well. And welcome to all others who have joined us in the meantime. You're watching Amos Live. My name is Boy and we are standing here at Polderbaan, runway 18 right, together with Center now for another 25 minutes. The two runways for inbound traffic. Grand Kiora. The first airplane of today's show, if you missed it, was a Boeing 747, and later we also saw Saudia coming in. There's one more still ahead of us, and also the Emirates A380 is still coming in. Also a surprise visit from Kenya, Nairobi, a 777 freighter from Air France, something that you usually don't see here at Schiphol Airport, coming in later today. And probably the return of Captain Wheelie. Hard to determine with a high degree of certainty because we're now standing a bit further to the south than normally would have been the case, but definitely a Captain Wheelie, if not Captain Wheelie-esque landing. And if you want to see that, scroll back to when the local time in the bottom left said 10:25 or so. Bongers, good morning. And good morning to all others who joined in the meantime. KLM arriving from Bristol. Well, it's a flight from, what is it? German Airways? Yep. Flying on behalf of KLM to the UK. So instead of a British hopper, it is a German hopper. I'm not as creative with the nicknames as Frank is. Another parallel arrival. This is a KLM 737-800 arriving from Oslo, KLM flight 1198. And the next airplane to the Polderbaan is number 190 arriving from Aberdeen, KLM flight 912. Two consecutive airplanes to the Polderbaan now, both arriving from the UK, both being Embraer 190s. The former on the right arriving from Aberdeen, and the latter on the left arriving from Norwich. Right, Wolfgang has to go. Work is calling, need to go for an hour, so see you later. Thanks for joining and hope to see you again later, Wolfgang. An airplane coming in from Aberdeen. In the foreground is another German Airways. Airplane formerly known as Chucky. The DAPRI. I think we saw it yesterday too. The KLM flight behind it, Eastern Airways, arrived from Norwich. First British hopper of the day, or is it the second? Siegfried also back in the chat. Good to see you. Good morning. Lee also back. Good to see you, Lee. Good evening, mate. Hardly any wind. Lovely day here. Is there a message for Amos Live viewers behind the sunscreen? I'm still inviting first officers to leave us a message there. As you can see, we can read it quite easily. But not today, unfortunately. Still hoping one day one first officer might still leave us a message. Now in the meantime, a massive big thank you to Captain Jerry Donnelly, who just now went ahead and gifted no less than 10 memberships. Jerry, what are you doing? Mate, you didn't have to do that, you know that. Thank you so much for your extreme generosity there. Welcome to the Aurora Skyline's new members. If you just got gifted a membership by Jerry, don't forget to say thank you. Use the custom emojis that you now have at your disposal whenever you see fit. You have access to them for a month. Enjoy them. If you enjoy being a member, consider renewing it or maybe giving it to somebody else as a gift. This is KLM flight 1056, flown by Eastern Airways, a British hopper arriving from Norwich, another Embraer 190. 16 years old, first flight somewhere in 2009. Also seriously getting an itch in my nose. Almost had to sneeze. Lost the airplane there as I was preparing to sneeze. It didn't ensue. Luckily, things are back to normal. Something is passing overhead, I can hear it. I'm not seeing it, but looking up I do see that a quad squad member is coming. Let's have a quick look. So, insofar as we can see its shadow on the left. And we can see the actual airplane over there. It's not what I was hearing, but when I looked up I did see it approach, so unfortunately not the best view. Maybe when it has passed by me it's going to improve. It does look, looking at the wing shape, like a 747. Looking at the tail and the wing shape, it's definitely a 747, probably Lufty. Doesn't look like the tail is dark, so Lufty old livery. Camera is approaching the zenith. Yeah, cannot follow it any longer. Have to wait until it has passed me by. In the meantime, not much happening over here on ground level. Parallel arrivals of Embraers still in progress. Narrow bodies. This is a 737 landing. Lufty Queen 7478 Frankfurt to LAX. There you go. Thanks for tuning in. Not tuning in, chiming in. English is failing. I need more vodka. Pilatus PC-12 underway to the Oostbaan. And the 747 continuing. Already pretty far away. Right, it is 11:25, another 15 or so minutes of parallel arrivals, and after that until 1, from 11:40 until 1 approximately, all inbound traffic will be coming to the Polderbaan once again. We saw an A321neo from KLM arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle earlier, and this is another one, KLM flight 1404. This is the Fax A. Brand new airplane. First flight July 2024. I see that Mr. Peterson is also back in the chat. Good morning from Minnesota, he writes. Good morning, Bill. Welcome back. Hope you've been well. Good to see you again, and welcome also to all others who have joined. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy, and we are standing here alongside Polderbaan, runway 18 right, for another 15 or so minutes, in use as one of two runways for inbound traffic. When there is relatively high humidity, A321neos always excel at delivering flap tip vortices, and you can see them clearly. In the second of the show, we also saw two queens already. The very first airplane was a queen. Saudia landed. There's another queen inbound, as is the Emirates A380. And if you scroll back to approximately 10:25 a.m. local time this morning, you will see a landing very reminiscent of Captain Wheelie. If it wasn't Captain Wheelie himself, it's a damn good imitator. Although we're standing a bit further to the south than normally would have been the case because of the pipes, the replacement pressure pipes. They're traversing the cycling path right around where I normally would be standing. Makes assessing the length of wheelies a bit different because our vantage point is further to the south. But it definitely looked like a very beautiful wheelie. 10:25 or so. It was a KLM Embraer 190, so might well have been Captain Wheelie himself. Hadi Danny, goedemorgen. Laatste dag van januari. Last thing of January. You thought something was with the screen, but the quality was on 240. Yeah. YouTube sometimes automatically switches to a lower resolution setting. It's always good to manually check, even if it says it's 1080 60 FPS, which I'm surprised YouTube shows because I'm filming at 50 FPS. It's always good to see if YouTube didn't accidentally switch to a lower resolution setting. Alan has to go. Catch you later, mate. I hope you all have a terrible day. I wish the same to you. Have a terrible day. Never come back, okay? Yep. Everybody's galore at the time. Hey, and I think the center runway has closed already because airplane number 3 is an A320 arriving from Erbil in Iraq, and that's east of the Netherlands. Normally speaking, it would be going to the center runway if that was still open. So either they made a mistake in assigning it to the Polderbaan, or they've closed center already. I think it's probably the latter. Jerry lost 20 kgs after 3 months of rehab. I thought rehab was supposed to make you stronger, grow muscles. Well, if it was excess fat that your doctor probably thought you needed to lose anyway, then it's a good thing, hopefully. QJ asks if I can show Atlas Air from Miami to AMS. It's now above Boston, UK. That's the Kühne and Nagel, isn't it? That's the one we're still waiting for. Definitely sticking around for that. 1 en 2 Haaglanden, goedemorgen. Nobody is perfect, good morning. And welcome to all others who have joined in the meantime. This is one of many 737s of KLM that we have seen land here. The next airplane is going to be an E2 Embraer. And after that, the A380 arriving from Erbil. Flight 500 from Iceland Air is also coming this way, arriving from Reykjavik. Still over the North Sea, but approaching quickly. In the meantime, the E2 Embraer is coming ever closer by. Flight 954 arriving from Newcastle. Bill asks, ever used the ferry across the A? You mean in Amsterdam? When I lived there, and I've lived there for 8 years until 2022, I regularly traversed it. Particularly in the summertime, because there were also a couple of locations where you could lounge, city, beach, in the vicinity of the NDSM. Also went to the Film Museum on several occasions, both to visit and to do some long exposure photography, which I did back then. Evan, top of the morning. Has anyone seen Emma Cox's performance in one of the Andre Rieu concerts here on YouTube? I certainly haven't. I, for one, haven't. Good to have you again, Evan. Hope you've been well. K2 is coming by to say hi, probably. K2 bird control. Thomas says, I've used the ferries a lot on my visits and you can cycle up to Edam via Broek en Waterland. Yeah, absolutely. The thing about Amsterdam is if you rent a bicycle, both on the north side and the south side, very quickly, if you leave the city boundaries, you'll be in classical Dutch landscapes with green acres of grassland, cows and mills. Edam, Zaandam on the north side, Broek en Waterland, Volendam, Marken. Airlines arriving from Erbil. I used to live on the south side, also went towards Utrecht often. Ronde Hoep. Vinkenveense Plassen, Loosdrechtse Plassen, beautiful to see. Yep, naar de Apkoude, nice as well, absolutely. If you go to the south along those small rivers, very beautiful. Good morning, Owen. Gijs V3, good to see you. Good morning. Iceland there in the background, flight 500, max 8737 coming in from Reykjavik, 2 hours and 31 minutes on the way. 6-year-old airplane. First flight August 2018. Just play nuts, good morning. Squeaky brakes on that previous airplane. And it wasn't even an Embraer. What about that? Looking on flight radar. Airplanes of interest, Quad Squad members, north of Norwich, the Kuehne & Nagel Atlas Air expected around 25 or so minutes from now. Still has to traverse the North Sea. Flying in German heartland, just east of Kassel, is Emirates flight 147, expected 12 minutes past noon. Both expected here on the Polderbaan, flying in the vicinity of Kosovo, Cathay Pacific Cargo. Still expected relatively late today, 141. Probably not going to stick around for that, but the 7478 and the Emirates A380 I am definitely going to stick around for. So if you don't have to be anywhere, stick around. 3 queens, Captain Wheelie, the Emirates A380, and also expected in, I think, an hour or so from now, a surprise visit from Air France. But not a narrow body, it's going to be a 777 freighter, arriving from Nairobi, Kenya. Saw it this morning. Normally we don't get to see those airplanes over here at Schiphol Airport. In itself not a rare airplane, but it is rare to Schiphol. Marissa, can you type louder? I can't hear. Beautiful. Right, the cat is coming once again. Beautiful to see. Let me turn around so that the camera wires don't get tangled. Lady and her stroller have to make way for the cat. Make way, cat coming through. Alrighty, the next airplane to turn in is from EasyJet. Think there it is, approaching the glide slope, arriving from Liverpool. QJ says, I like the old livery of Iceland Air more. I think most people do. Is there anybody, let's just ask outright, is there anybody now watching who honestly thinks that the new livery looks better than the old one from Iceland Air? Just curious, not judging, just curious. There's a quad squad member flying east of me, northeast of me. Let me see if I can catch a glimpse of it. Show you some details perhaps. Bear in mind the camera is now pointing up. That means that my phone with the chat is pointing down. I'm unable to read your chat messages right now. That's the freighter, what's it called again? Come on. Not DHL. And that other freight carrier, 747, come on. UPS. UPS from Cologne to Louisville. Leon, goedemorgen, good morning. UPS, indeed it was, I think. For the time being, still narrow bodies approaching Polderbaan. EasyJet arriving from Liverpool, already established. Turning in from the right, now visible, is KLM flight 1216, arriving from Stockholm, an Embraer 190, and we have a 737 coming in after that. Old Iceland better, like you said, Paul, a lot of no answers. Sordo, buenos dias. Good to have you again. It's been a while. Dokes OFC asks Boeing or Airbus. That's the eternal question, isn't it? Pineapple on pizza, yay or nay? EasyJet flight 23441, arriving from Liverpool next to land here at Polderbaan. It's the guestie. GEZTY. 14 years old, first flight December 2010. Alright, more Embraer 190s. For those of you who like Embraers, this is your day. Arriving from Stockholm, KLM flight 1216. 1 hour and 38 minutes on the way. It's the visa. Now, if you are born in the European Union, you don't need a visa to visit the Netherlands. Although it might be quick if it takes a long time to drive. This visa will bring you from Stockholm to Amsterdam in less than 2 hours. 16 years old already, first flight October 2008. And this is a Canon XA60, guys. The landings are floating, just plain not says, and that is true. Around 10:25 a.m. local time, we even saw what probably was Captain Wheelie doing a long wheelie in one of KLM's Embraer 190s. There's hardly any wind, nothing to write home about. What wind there is blowing is just a handful of knots in the runway heading. Mostly hand wind, very small ripples here in the water. The windsock is flaccid. No Viagra will be able to get it erect. It's not going to be enough, not today. That's a sad windsock. T-Mac, good morning. Good to see you, mate. Hope all is well. Jerry asks if there's one common spoken language in the EU. If only that were so. We like to think that people all speak English. And most do, although some people who say they speak English are hard to follow. This is an express flight 944 arriving from Turkey, Izmir to be precise. 1262 nautical miles. And 14 years of age, this airplane. First flight December 2010. I'm also hearing something overhead, looking up. For some reason, even though it was said that it was going to be a bit more sunny in the northwest, we still have some high clouds in the south now that are interfering with both visibility up and with the sunshine. Bill asks who has visited the Keukenhof Gardens. I think I did once when I was younger, which is a shame because it's actually in my hometown. I am, however, enjoying the traffic infarction in my place of residence and in the immediate vicinity each spring. Boy, goedemorgen. Albert, goedemorgen. Wayne, good morning. Wayne is tuning in from South Africa. Wayne says, I like your stream, very cool. Thank you for your kind words, mate. Now, if you're new to the channel, don't be afraid to say hi in the chat. It's not mandatory by any means, but it is always appreciated. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Many people are watching, they're all friendly. Many of them are knowledgeable even. And there's no such thing as a stupid question. Next airplane coming in is going to be Transavia flight 6610, arriving from Innsbruck in Germany. Behind it on the left is KLM flight 1710. Arriving from Luxembourg, number 175, and after that we are going to see Air France flight 1500. And that is a Bombardier C Series 300, aka an A220. Love these airplanes. The Air France livery looks so much better in this airplane type, on this airplane type, than on the A320 family. Now we'll also do an Air France 777 freighter arriving from Nairobi, Kenya. That's an airplane that in itself is not very rare, but it is a rare visitor of Schiphol. Usually Air France only flies small airplanes between Paris Charles de Gaulle and Amsterdam Schiphol Airport. Roger Kalp says, watching from South Australia, can't wait for the Kühne and Nagel Queen. She's the best livery out there. Well, in that case, you're in luck because she is on the way, which you probably already saw before. Good morning, Clive. Boy asks if I'm here tomorrow as well. That depends on the weather, mate. If I recall correctly, they were warning for dense fog in the morning on Saturday. At least I saw a warning to that extent on my phone this morning when waking up. If there's no visibility, there's no stream. Simple as that. Eva says, time for some cheap vodka. Be right back. Get your vodka ready, boy, for cheers for another opportunity of sharing a nice moment together. I'll be waiting for you, Evan. Just give me a heads up when you've returned with your vodka and I'll be ready to cheers away. Two airplanes visible in one shot, and on the left we have that aforementioned Air France Bombardier C Series A220. Nicholas says that the 747 has been confirmed for Polderbaan. Not unexpected, but definitely nice to get the confirmation. She's coming. Third queen of the show. If you joined us later, the very first airplane of today's show, so in the first 5 minutes, was a Cargolux queen. Saudia also arrived. We also saw Captain Wheelie around 10:25 a.m. Jerry has to go. Mate! No! The Kühne and Nagel 7478 is coming. If you have to go, Jerry, thanks for dropping by and see you later then. Although I really wish you were able to stick around for the Queen. She's worth it. If there's one 747 type that can get loud, it's the 7478. Paul says, 1218 ETA A320 Neo Kuwaiti. And what's the ETA of the Air France 777 freighter? I think it was around 12:30 earlier when Marissa checked. This is KLM flight 1710, having arrived from Luxembourg. All well and good, but I think I prefer watching the last few seconds of Air France flight 1500, Bombardier C Series, aka the A220, not an actual Airbus by origin, but it is a pretty airplane, together with the A350, in my opinion, my humble opinion, the two prettiest modern day passenger airplanes out there. Air France flight 1500, arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle, flight time 46 minutes, that's par for the course. The airplane a year old, first flight June 2023. Air France ETA 1229 still, thanks for checking it out, Marissa, and letting us know. Captain Jerry says, Queen is so woke. Yeah, and woke is the source of all evil in the world today, isn't it? At least according to the new president. Just check out how streamlined that cockpit looks. Those windows, that nose. Absolutely right, Fabio. What a beauty. Oh, E2 Embraer from Royal Jordanian, estimated arrival shortly before 2 p.m. Well, I'm hearing construction further away. I'm not sure if the mic picks it up. Still, Embraer 190s coming in. A bit boring, actually. I'm starting to get bored myself. I hope you guys aren't too bored yet. We do have a Dreamliner arriving from Panama City that is now turning onto the downwind leg. So thank God a wide body is still coming. Meantime, Embraer 190 after Embraer 190 coming in. The next Embraer 190 will be coming in from Brussels. Less than 100 nautical miles. They're using an airplane for distances like that. Alrighty. Evan is ready. Time to throw out a cheers with some vodka. Here's to a more beautiful moment here at AMS Live. Cheers, bottoms up, Evan. Howdy Han, goedemorgen, good to see you again. You were probably in the chat already. I must have missed your arrival. Apologies for that. KLM flight 1704 arriving from Brussels. Embraer 190, 88 nautical miles. 11-year-old airplane, first flight October 2013. Marissa informing us that the A380 is about to enter Dutch airspace. That's good news. And you're absolutely right, Paul. Hiding the vodka in a water bottle. Easiest way to carry around a large amount of liquor with me. If you use glass bottles, it's heavier. They're more susceptible to break if they ever fall. Just a smart, logical way to transport my very valued liquor. Buy one Embraer, get one free. Yeah. Hey Jörg, happy Friday. Bon appetit. Well, bear with me folks. There is a 747 and an A380 both coming to the Polderbaan. But we have to wade through a lot of narrow bodies to get there. Our patience is being tested. Transavia, flight 6936 next to land here, arriving from Tirana. That's in Albania. 7-year-old airplane, first flight March 2017. We had some sunshine earlier in the stream. Now the sun is still visible, but hiding behind higher clouds. More cloudiness to the south of us. More open skies to the north. Unfortunately, the sun going from east to west via the south and not via the north. Because otherwise we would have had a bit more sunshine. Roger asks when the AMS Live trip to Anchorage is. That would be awesome. I don't know when. I haven't scheduled anything yet, but I will inform you beforehand well in time. You can rest assured of that. Be rest assured of that. Eastern Airways coming in from Teesside or Darlington next. That's a Britty Hopper. Umbrella 90. 18 years old. First flight somewhere in 2007. 737 visible in the top. That's arriving from Copenhagen. KLM flight 1268. And the 787-10 Dreamliner arriving from Panama City. The first wide body in God knows how long. Finally on the glide slope, now number 3. KLM flight 1268 up next. Arriving from Copenhagen. 58 minutes the flight time. PHBXW, 17 years old, first flight December 2007, and the airplane behind it, KLM flight 758, arriving from Panama City. That's the 787-10 Dreamliner, and the first wide body in how much time has it been? Emirates coming in 20 minutes, Paul says. Before that, the Kühne and Nagel 7478 will also be landing here. Both wide bodies, both quad squad members are expected for the Polderbaan. Air France also coming. 777 freighter arriving from Nairobi, Kenya. Expected around 12:30. And that's a rare visitor for Schiphol Airport. The airplane itself is not that rare, but it is rather rare that it comes to Amsterdam. Alrighty, let's quickly turn back. KLM flight 741 arriving from Panama City. 787-10 Dreamliner, here it is. Nine hours and 12 minutes underway. The PHBKK, that's Bravo Kilo Kilo. You can still see wing fluff over the top foil of the wings, indicating still relatively high humidity. This airplane began its career in December 2020, making it 4 years old. Hadi Frank, goedemiddag. An Air France 777 freighter also confirmed for Polderbaan, now above Zeeland. Looking forward to that. It's not so much a rare airplane in itself, but it is rather rare to see it at Schiphol. Quad Squad also coming this way. Not sure if we can see a lot of details due to the cloudiness. But since there is the so manyth Embraer 175 arriving from Leeds as the next airplane landing at the Polderbaan, let's do an excursion and have a look at what this is. It is approaching from the southeast, so it is probably originating from Frankfurt or Munich. Again, my camera is now pointing up and my phone attached to it has its screen pointing down. Means I'm unable to read your messages right now. Whoa. Looking at the wing shape, I'm inclined to say this is a Lufty, well, I can see it is a Lufty A340. If it is a 600 or a different airplane type, that I cannot see. But Lufty A340, that was rather simple to see. Oh. This is the Embraer 175 arriving from Leeds, KLM flight 1020. And thank you, Nicholas. A340 600 to Chicago. Frankfurt to Chicago, check. Hey there, Margie. Hey there, Axel. Right. 2 airplanes on the glide slope visible. Embraer 175 arriving from Bergen and an E2 Embraer 195 arriving from Berlin behind it. Kühne and Nagel is flying base and looks to become the number 3. Question is, can we see Her Majesty already? We should be able to see her. Shouldn't be too hard to pick her out. I think I'm looking too far away. Interesting. Glide slope over here. 747. Set to turn in. Are the pipes in the way? Am I going blind, or is the airplane flying right behind the pipes then? Ah yeah, it was. It was. I was about to say. Fucking 747 viewed from the side, should be able to see that easily on with weather like today.
What? 747?
Hank has to go. Mate! That is very unfortunate timing. Third queen now on the glide slope is number 3. Right. Now the sad fate of airplanes preceding Quad Squad members is that they don't get much love here on AMS Live, and the same is going to happen to the E2 Embraer 195 on the right. I'm not going to continue following it, but keep the camera focused on Her Majesty the Queen. Queen number 3, extending the gear right now. Atlas Air, Kühne and Nagel, 7478 arriving from Miami, Florida. 7 hours and 45 minutes underway. The airplane is 2 years old. First flight was in October 2022. See that Frederick Sens is also back in the chat. Good to see you, mate. Hope you've been well. The pixelated Queen still pretty far away. There you go. Think I can hear myself with a little delay. We have some bystanders here on the cycling path next to me. No, Marissa says, how can you not film those rare Embraers? Come visit me in person to settle the score then. Is this the last of the... Is this the very last built Queen? Or is it the penultimate one? I think we've seen the penultimate one on several occasions before. This is the November 862 Golf Tango. The very last? Is this the very last of the 747s ever built? Was delivered in October 2022, making it 2 years old. Okay, so this is the penultimate one, right. Thanks, Nicholas. Here she is, third queen of the show. Atlas Air landed earlier, and the very first airplane of today's show was another queen from Cargolux. The Emirates A380 is still coming, so stick around, we are going to catch them all. Also, if you've been enjoying the stream so far and you haven't already, consider leaving a like. It really helps to promote this content and this channel to people who haven't come across the channel yet, but who are also into live streams such as these. There's high humidity in the sky and the top foil is showing. Wing fluff and some vortices here and there as well. Will this one use the reversers and be loud? The previous two didn't, so fingers crossed this one will get loud. Let's look and listen. Nope. No dice. Not today, unfortunately. All three 747s landed with idle reversers, sadly. One more chance. And that's the Emirates A380, which is expected shortly. Already in Dutch airspace. Third queen with idle reversers. Vacating the runway gracefully. What a beautiful machine. It's a pity that the sun isn't fully out, otherwise the airplane would be shining like a mofo. Michael Jackson also back in the chat. Good to see you, mate. Perfect timing. The very first airplane of today's show was also a 747 landing, Cargolux. And Saudia also landed in the meantime. And if you look back and go back to 10:25 a.m. local time, and you can see that in the bottom left corner of your screen, you could also see another landing that was probably Captain Wheelie. I'm calling it. I think it was Captain Wheelie, although we are at a bit more southerly location than normally, making it a bit more difficult to ascertain how long it actually was. Embraer 190 arriving from Humberside next. And we have a 7879 Dreamliner. Is that already... or is that another airplane not visible on flight radar? I think it is. Don't think that this is KLM Flight 706 yet. So what is it then? It's an A330. It's an A330-300. Is that Delta? That's an airplane that isn't showing on flight radar, at least not on my flight radar, and I have inbound for AMS as a filter active. I also see that the Emirates A380 is approaching Amsterdam from the east. I'm wondering if I can see it already. I'm looking to my right, because I think I should be able to spot it if I know where I need to look, because visibility is top-notch today. Maybe if it turns to the north, I'm going to be able to see it. I'm keeping my eye out for it. It's always hard to determine where exactly you need to look. Delta A330 with no destination, Paul says, so that explains why I wasn't able to see it on flight radar. Britty Hopper, in the meantime, having landed. And the Delta A330 bonus Delta that isn't showing on flight radar. Delta Airlines Flight 136, thank you, Bill. arriving from Detroit. Ulf. Guten Morgen. Well, no, it's afternoon. Guten Tag. Now over downtown. Indeed, I'm looking. I think I have it. Yeah, got the A380. There it is. Now where did I see it? There it is. Emirates Flight 147 turning over the city of Amsterdam to the north on the downwind leg. Going to land on the Polderbaan here. And an early glimpse of the A380 that is going to land on our runway pretty soon. Let's not get that let's not leave us distracted from what is going on over here. In the meantime, Delta Airlines Flight 136 arriving from Detroit, Michigan. A330-300. Will it get loud? Fingers crossed it will. Haven't seen a lot of Deltas today. Yes. Delta doesn't disappoint, does it? Excellent. Let's quickly turn back. Next up, KLM Flight 706 arriving from Rio de Janeiro. That's a 7879 Dreamliner, 10 hours and 55 minutes underway. The PHBHE, 8-year-old airplane, first flight March 2016. And check it out. More wing fluff over the top foil of the wings. If things look a bit pixelated, it is because I am using a lot of digital zoom, magnifying the pixels that only actually show more detail when you use optical zoom. Hadi Ronald, goedemiddag. Now, I think we are going to see 3 airplanes still before the A380 after this airplane has landed. This is another of those Dreamliners in the newest livery, if I see this properly. Or is it? A380 might be preceded by the ugly one, Hans says. I think you might be right. Your favorite airline arriving from Barcelona. Are there more airplanes? No, I don't think we're going to see more. Hey, Air France, the 777 freighter arriving from Nairobi, is also approaching, flying over my hometown more or less, and I think we're going to see it pretty soon. Wolfgang back from work just in time. The A380 is coming. Third Queen landed a couple of minutes ago. The 747s thus far have not used their reversers. Here's the hoping that the A380 will. We have Anadolu Jet A320 arriving from Istanbul in the foreground, operated by Freebird Airlines. So another airplane that you don't see very often coming in first. 3 hours and 10 minutes underway. 18-year-old airplane, first flight March 2006. Hadi Peter. Good to see you again. I have a great day. I've been having a great day thus far, absolutely. Hope that also goes for you. It was the paint update, Leon says. I think it looks a bit more subtle on the wide bodies than on the narrow bodies. Birds, birds, birds. In the meantime, third airplane just turned in. That is Vueling, arriving from Barcelona. Hans' favorite. preceding the Emirates A380. Now, the airplane that this was supposed to be on flight radar has an updated livery. It's now almost completely white and it looks horrendous. Right, let's quickly turn back to more interesting things. In the A380 in the meantime has turned in, now visible. Infinity, goedemiddag, good to see you again. Next airplane to come in is KLM flight 1004 arriving from London Heathrow, and I'm also looking to my left to see if Air France is visible already. I think it is. Thank you so much.
Can we
Young.
get a selfie?
Sorry?
Can we get a selfie?
Absolutely, absolutely you can. Here is the Air France 777 freighter. Rare visitor of Schiphol Airport. Do you want to take the selfie right away?
Yeah.
Sure.
Before the A380?
Yeah, before they paid.
Yeah, no one likes invaders.
No, exactly. Alright. Team selfie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is everybody in the picture?
Let's check.
Maybe you should.
Yeah, one.
Maybe a portrait photo.
Yeah. But just sideways.
Awesome.
Oh.
Oh.
Wrong button.
Wrong button. That was the screen going off. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Were the pictures good?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you're welcome, guys.
You also watch the screen.
Cool. Awesome.
I can keep watching your stream now.
Okay. Enjoy the days, lads.
Oh yeah, it's me.
Don't forget the A380. Yeah, it's now number 2. Yeah, being preceded by Vueling, Hans' favorite. Arriving from Barcelona, an A320neo. Now, Han, I know you're going to regret this and you're going to be mad about it, but I'm not going to film the Vueling. It's the fate of airplanes preceding Quad Squad members. They don't get much love unless they are wide-bodied. In the meantime, Emirates flight 147 arriving from Dubai has turned final. It's number 3 on flight radar, tracked by 684 people. How many viewers do we have? Rookie numbers, we have more viewers than that. We can get it up in the top 2, can't we? 6 hours and 49 minutes underway, a bit longer than normal. Normally it would have flown around 6.5 hours, so it's probably had a little bit of headwind underway, 20 or so minutes. Nothing out of the ordinary. The airplane, 13 years old, registration A6EDU, that's Echo Delta Uniform. The airplane next to here is the Vueling, having landed just now. And the A380, 13 years old, first flight August 2011. The airplane behind it, looking small in comparison, is a 777-200 arriving from Atlanta, Georgia, KLM flight 622. Sadly today the 747s all landed with idle reversers and weren't that loud. The A380 almost always applies reverse thrust. Will it do today? Will it do it today as well? Granted, it only has 2 engines that it can use to reverse, so maybe that makes it more susceptible to use them even on calm days like today, but then again, we've also seen plenty of idle reverse landings of the A380, so fingers crossed. The sound you're hearing is somebody who is tightening bolts on a pipe next to where I'm standing. If you're wondering what that strange sound might be. Alright. Another subdued landing, unfortunately. The Emirates A380. Hey, see you guys later. Enjoy the rest of your day. Right, the A380, Emirates flight 147. And the two young lads that asked for selfies on their way again. Pretty sure they were from England or from the United States. Here we have KLM flight 622, 777-200 arriving from Atlanta, Georgia, flown by KLM Asia. Atlanta, of course, in the United States of Asia. 7 hours and 33 minutes underway. The PHBQM, 18 years old, first flight March 2006. Good morning, Liberator. Welcome back. Hope you were in time to catch the A380 land just now. Now we're going to see a rare visitor in the form of Air France, in a form of a 777 freighter, no less. About to land here on Polderbaan pretty soon. Hey, check it out. We also have Gary Grebe back. He dove up just now. And yeah, back under again, even before I had the time to set the focus to auto. Gary Grebe, you mischievous little bugger. Always up to no good. That's why he keeps diving under. Hide from the police and other authorities. Jackie has to go. See you later, Jackie. Thanks for joining. Donna, goedemiddag. Good to see you again. Air France arriving from Nairobi, now number 2, being preceded by Kuwait Airways, arriving from Kuwait, I think. See that Sarah is also back in the chat. Good to see you, Sarah. Evan, in the meantime, thank you so much for your super sticker. 100 underlined twice. Mate, thank you so much for that. Hope you are enjoying your vodka on your end. Now, if you joined us just now, you are watching Amos Live. My name is Boy. We are standing here at Polderbaan, now used for arrivals as runway 18 right. 3 Queens and the A380 have already landed. The very first airplane of the show was the first of the 3 Queens. The last of the Queens landed shortly before the A380 landed a couple of minutes ago. We also saw Captain Wheelie again. If you want to see that landing, go back to when the local time, which you can see in the bottom left of your screen, it was 10:25 a.m. It's an Embraer 190 from KLM and the landing was long. Air France 777 freighter arriving from Nairobi, Kenya. Number 2 now. In itself, not so much a rare airplane, but it is rare that we are seeing it today arriving at Schiphol Airport. Before that, Kuwait Airways, A320neo, flight 127, arriving from Kuwait City. The airplane, 4 years old, first flight, April 2020. Their contour says that the Air France 777 freighter also scheduled for next week, Tuesday and Friday. Well, on Tuesdays, unfortunately, I have to work, and Tuesdays and Wednesdays are always off limits for me to stream, at least for the time being. Although at times I have considered temporarily quitting the job and going full-time just to see what growth I would get. But I think the channel is still too small to make that viable. But hopefully we are able to catch it next week Friday. Do you already know, Dirk, what time it is expected? Now, granted, we don't know what the wind is going to be yet in a week from now. Hey, what? Did it fly through a little bit of nebulosity? It certainly looked like it did. What? Beautiful machine. Air France Cargo Flight 6901. 777 freighter arriving from Nairobi in Kenya. 3,602 nautical miles away. The plane is 16 years old. First flight August 2008. Will it use its reversers? With the calm weather, reverser use has been very marginal today. Little dog. The owner is calling it to come. Here boy. But then in Dutch, kom dan. The little doggo is barking. 16 years old, this airplane. First flight was in August 2008. Hey, Malcolm also back in the chat. And he's thanking whoever gifted him the membership. Might have to keep it going. Hope you will get me landing in AMS in May. Well, keep in touch about that then. Always would be nice. It's always nice to catch people who are watching the streams when they are landing or taking off to or from Schiphol Airport. Escargot. Ooh, that's a nice one, Paul. Very refined. Escargot. There is another 777-300 arriving from Sao Paulo, flying left of me on the downwind leg. Where did I see it? There it is. Right next to me. That is KLM flight 792. Why am I now seeing "Teach me to wake up to your voice"? Bixby. Is that AI from the Samsung? Stop the registration. I want to see the chat again.
Who should I message?
Screw you. I don't want to. What the fudge is this? All of a sudden, something on my phone got activated from saying escargot, I think. I wasn't touching my phone and all of a sudden there was a pop-up. Teach me to recognize your voice. Now, there's always a lot to see. And this was a very polished landing of an E2 Embraer. Arriving from Warsaw. No wave to us. Lost control, indeed, Wolfgang. Hackers. I was hacked. God damn it. Leave me alone. Next up, KLM flight 1800 arriving from Düsseldorf, hometown of Jörg. Behind that, an A320 EasyJet arriving from Belfast, and behind that, a KLM Embraer 737 arriving from Dublin, Ireland. Lisa asks who the woman on my phone is and if she should be worried. No sooner has she left the country and he's already on the phone with the strange women. Obviously, the only right answer is, of course you shouldn't be worried. Right, KLM flight 1800 arriving from Düsseldorf. A mere 100 nautical miles it has journeyed. 6-year-old airplane. First flight February 2018. First officers once again busy with whatever it is that they do. Let's see, we have a third airplane turning in. That is Aer Lingus arriving from Dublin, Ireland. Shamrock flight 604. Barry has to go, lunch and then back to work, so catch you later. Thanks for joining, Barry. Hope to see you again in the next one, which hopefully will be tomorrow, depending on the weather. If Schiphol isn't too densely packed in fog tomorrow morning, then I am looking to go out again tomorrow, but you never know. I already received a warning for fog on Saturday morning this morning, so was a bit surprised by that. Apparently the weather forecasters already know quite early on that there's a big chance of fog tomorrow morning. Thought it was a little early to call it, to issue warnings for fog. But I wouldn't be surprised if we are going to see fog tomorrow morning, because you could see from various airplanes already relatively high humidity. We have relatively high pressure. That combined in winter with not a lot of sunshine usually results in foggy conditions in the morning. There certainly was a lot of frozen moisture on my car windows this morning that I first had to scrape off. Leon says that I just checked the dates for the NATO top in The Hague. It's on your work day, so maybe seeing some specials arriving before or after those 2 days. What days are the NATO top then? Tuesday and Wednesday? It will be interesting to see what is going to happen here at Schiphol Airport, because the last time there was a NATO top held, a lot of the area around the airport was already closed off, and I thought Pilot Sanders said that the runway, at least the Polderbaan, was used partially as a temporary parking lot for all the biz jets of all the world leaders that were flying in. Zeker, met jou ook.
Hey.
Arie, goeiedag.
Hey.
Alles lekker?
Jawel, je hebt nou de oudste zoon hier.
Wat zei je?
De oudste zoon hier. Die is
Ah, oké. Hoi.
Mark.
Goeiedag. Dat is je zoon die hier in...
De jongste. Nee, die
Oh.
is de jongste.
Ah,
Hij woont ook in Ede.
in Engeland?
Ede.
Ede, oh. Aardig eentje uit de buurt.
Goed weer om te sturen, joh.
Het is heerlijk, ja. Het is met het zonnetje erbij zou het nog wat beter zijn, maar op zich het is heerlijk. Amper wind. Het was gisteren wat kouder, was het wel wat warmer, maar ja, maar je had meer wind.
Ja.
En dan is het snel kouder. Dus vooral zonder wind is het gewoon heerlijk. Wel nog steeds handschoenen aan, maar boah. Nee, als het nou 's winters dit soort weer consistent is, dit is gewoon heerlijk. Ari, the guy that has brought drinks and also stroopwafels recently on several occasions before, is here with his oldest son, saying hi. So we're catching up a little bit, as we do, talking about the weather, how it is lovely weather today. Yeah, if winters could be like this all winter long, it wouldn't be so bad. It's a pity that most of the time it is grey and nebulous or drizzly. Lisa says hi, she's on her way to Belgium. Dropped her off earlier this morning. Groeten terug. Right, we've got a couple of wide bodies coming in. Number 3 on the glide slope right now is the 777 arriving from Sao Paulo. Which is over there. We have a nice linear 3 airplane glide slope shot now. Another 777 arriving from Guayaquil is flying downwind and should be turning in shortly. Probably 3 airplanes in between the 2 777s. Shamrock, flight 604, arrival from Dublin, Ireland. This is an Irish rugby team livery according to flight radar. Not anymore. It is Aer Lingus, but have they repainted the one of the two Irish rugby teams back to what it was before, or is this a different airplane altogether? That's what I'm wondering now. This is the ITA. Yeah, we had the ITA and the IDAG. So this used to be, until recently, a special livery Aer Lingus with the Irish rugby team on it, but now no longer. And Joey Tuck says you almost have the accent of the royal, the king and queen. Funny. Do you goed? Well done. Thanks for your kind words, Joey. And Mark says, great live link. Can you catch a bus to the Polar bound from the terminals? Would like to go next time we fly from Manchester, UK. I don't think that there is a bus stop nearby, Mark. What you can do is take the train to the station nearby, and you can rent bicycles from over there. Mind you, I think you need to have a subscription to rent a bicycle. So I'm not sure if when you're visiting from abroad, if you are eligible to rent a bicycle there. If you aren't able to do so, you would have to take a bus. And well, I know that Lisa did it once. She had to stop at a bus stop a couple of kilometers away from here, and she still had to walk a significant portion along a road where there's no cycling path or pedestrian pavement. So while it is possible to get here, it would be easiest if you were able to rent a bicycle. Now, a lot of train stations in the Netherlands do allow you to rent bicycles, but I don't know, I haven't done it myself before, so I'm not sure if you need to have a subscription or not. Yeah, and as you can see in the chat, Lisa was not very happy about having to walk such a big distance. Alright, this is KLM flight 792, 777-300 arriving from Sao Paulo in Latin Asia, or is this a regular? No, this is a regular KLM. 11-year-old airplane, PH BVK, first flight May 2013. The sound you're also picking up is the lift. The blue lift that is slowly passing by on the cycling path. Check it out. 123 machine rental is what it says in Dutch. Nice name for a website where you can apparently also borrow this. Would that be expensive? I think it's big enough for me to put everything that I used to stream with in. Raise it up. How high could it go? for rent. And there's Ari and his son. And the machine. Quite loud as it drives past us. Loud and slow. Gary in Amsterdam is tuning in from Noordwijk at work, which, if I recall correctly, was that department of the European Space Agency. Building rockets and whatnot. Bill says rent it! Exclamation mark. Well, it's worth looking into it. I'm not sure if as a private person you're allowed to do so. Well, I do run a business, so I could do it as a business. In Austria it costs around 150 euros per day. Well, then, then the super chat rate has to go up a little bit, but it would be a lovely vantage point, wouldn't it? Maybe if I rented it put it on the trailer, drove it to the parking lot next to P3, and then buy a parking ticket over there, and then use that to raise myself to the same level as P3, do a live stream from there. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be profitable, but it would be nice, wouldn't it? Dirk says you can go up 20.9 meters with that one, so that is just about as high as P3 is. That's 4 stories up. Ja, oh, je gaat er weer vandoor, is goed. Hey, wel thuis, tot de volgende keer. Wel thuis. Aria and his son are leaving again. In the meantime, K1. And that's the sound effect board. I think you're right, Wolfgang, you probably do need permission for using a construction like that in the vicinity of the airport. Just like how using drones is strictly prohibited, unfortunately. This is a KLM Embraer 175, flight 1944. Yada yada. Next up, 777-200. KLM flight 751. It is a 777-200 arriving from Guayaquil, which we all know lies in. Now, this airplane has been flying for 10 hours and 35 minutes to get here. 21 years old, registration PHBQD, first flight December 2003. Bill says wind farm working hard, absolutely. Only when it is really wind still do you see those windmills completely still. Even though there's hardly any wind to speak of today. Wind on the scale of chimney smoke. And that's the BAM groundskeeper vehicle, for lack of a better description, that was just driving past on the cycling path. Harjeet says, then put it besides the pipes and pretend working on it. Well, there are no pipes near parking P3. Right, Wolfgang says that when he used one of those cranes, you needed permission to raise it above 40 meters. Well, 40 meters is quite tall. I think you don't need to have that much of height. JD is hopping off to the Lurkers Lounge for the time being. See you later, Jurg. Aviation Dallas, good to see ya. Now I'm checking out Flight Radar to see what else is coming, because it is once again narrow bodies for the time being. There is a 777 from Qatar that has entered Dutch airspace, but it is also 1:45, so I'm thinking the center runway is probably going to open up. Oh, and Turkish is also coming in. I think that these two will land on the center runway, unfortunately. In the meantime, also, welcome back, Alan, our latest Aurora Sky Lounge member. Back again, welcome back in the lounge. Thank you for once again choosing Amos Live as the Aurora Sky Lounge as your place to hang out in. We kept your seat warm. Turkish and Qatar indeed going to center, Marissa says. Means that we need to look to the west and southwest to see what is coming to the Polderbaan. And although it is busy, it is mostly narrow bodies. Makes me wonder if and when I am going to wrap it up, because we already saw so many narrow bodies before. And if I am getting bored, most of you probably are also getting bored. I do see that there is a Bombardier C Series 300 from Air France coming in, flying downwind. That is a beautiful machine. Marissa says that the first heavy is an hour out. Yeah, I'm not going to stick around for that. In that case, what would be a nice airplane to round up the stream with? And I'm thinking the Air France Bombardier C Series 300 will be a nice, suitable candidate for that. Leon asks, no diverting A380 on the way like Monday? Yeah, I don't know. If there is, let me know. I only became aware of the A380 diverting to Amsterdam when people commented below streams and I was already at home. EasyJet arrival from Venetia is the next airplane to land, an A320. 7 years old, first flight May 2017. And another Embraer 190 from BA on the far left behind it, arriving from London City. The sun returning a little bit, even though it is still hiding behind higher clouds. At the moment it seems to be thinning a little bit. No halos visible unfortunately, or is there? Not very clear, maybe a little bit. It's almost always visible under circumstances such as these. The airplane turning in now is an Embraer 190 arriving from Hamburg. And the airplane in the foreground is also an Embraer 190 arriving from London City. That is BA City Flyer, on the way for 45 minutes. 15 years old, first flight somewhere in 2010, month not specified on flight radar. And the airplane, which I think I'm going to call as the last airplane of the day, Air France Bombardier C Series 300, aka the A220, arriving from Paris-Charles de Gaulle, is flying base, should become visible in a couple of minutes. What up, lads? Welcome to the Netherlands. Bill already saying thanks for the live and see you soon. Hope to see you in the next one, Bill. Thank you for joining as well. The Air France Bombardier C Series now visible at the 9 to 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock-ish of the Embraer 190 that is returning from Hamburg. Leo asks, is there a giant frog in the hood? I don't know. What are you hearing? Right, the penultimate airplane of the day. Touching down here. I've lost count of how many Embraers we've seen in this show. It's tremendously many. Bam! Full 400 times digital zoom in addition to the optical zoom. This is back to the top end of optical zoom. The screw tightening no longer takes place, Wolfgang. I'm looking around me and nobody is working on those pipes any longer. I think they're headed out for lunch. Right, last airplane of the day. This is Air France flight 1640, arriving from Paris-Charles de Gaulle. 46 minutes on the way to get here. That's nominal flight time. Bombardier C-Series 300, aka an A220-300. Brand new, meaning less than a year old. First flight of this airplane was in May 2024, so still a couple more months before it's turning 1. We're basically looking at the equivalent of an airplane baby. Howdy Dan, hello. If you joined just now, sadly you're joining in the last couple of minutes of the stream. I am going to wrap up after this airplane has landed. I'm also going to go ahead and say a massive big thank you to everybody who has joined me here today. I had a wonderful time and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I have. If you enjoyed the stream and you haven't already, consider leaving a like. It really helps to promote the channel to people who like the channel, who would like streams like these, just like you do, but who haven't come across the channel yet. A massive big thank you for all the support, all the likes, all the super chats, the super stickers, becoming a member again, gifted memberships, merch store purchases and whatnot. The ground crew merch, very popular these days. Have a look if you haven't already. Also a big thank you to the mods once again for keeping the chat friendly and accessible. Now, if it's not going to be too foggy tomorrow morning, count on me being out here again. Not sure if I'm going to go to the Polderbaan or maybe somewhere else. I think the wind was expected to stay in the southerly corner, so maybe departures for a change. But that would have to be from the Kaagbaan then. Not sure yet. We'll have to see. A massive big thank you for a last minute. Where is it? There it is. A last minute super chat from Roadhog. A cent, a like, hashtag FreeP3. Thank you all so much for that. 500 likes. And thank you, Gratje, for your super chat last minute. Once again, thanks again for joining me here today. Hope to see you in the next one. And take care. See you soon. Bye for now.